Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Full Circus. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. I'm not going to put on a face for you. I'm not going to pretend that everything's okay. I'm hurting, dude. Because it's hard. It's hard to be a sports fan because this freaking past weekend, this Sunday, it was the kickoff for the National Football League. And with that, the Cleveland Browns played, right? And the Cleveland Browns are my team. Those are my boys, my ride or die. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a sports fan because you get so invested, so much of your soul and your body. Like, I'm part of that team, as far as I know. Like, this is I win with them, I lose with them, and I ride the highs, and with that come the lows. And this Sunday was a killer. And it's hard, especially on week one, right? You get in there, everyone's so excited. We haven't seen football in so long. We're high-fiving, shaking hands, and hugging. We're going like a couple of madmen, doing handstands. Everyone's going so crazy. It's going to be the best ever. And then the game starts, and things happen the way they happen, and yeah. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. It's so hard. The Browns lost, right? I don't know if I said that already, but the cat's out of the bag, right? We didn't win. And it sucks. It sucked. Like, when the game, the way it ended, it just made me feel sick. Like, I just wanted to cry and throw up and just, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with myself. I think the biggest problem is that we looked like the better team. We did. We were like, oh, we're driving down, we're holding them. Like, everything was going our way. And just a couple of crucial little mistakes. Like, we looked like the better team, and I hope that we face them later in the year and we get the freaking revenge. But it was just it's such a killer, dude. It's such a killer to really invest yourself so hard into something and risk it all. And yeah, it was. It was just a couple of little things, like a fumble on a punt, another fumble, blown coverages. It was just everything just collapsed right at the end, and we lost because we had them, dude. We had them, and it just didn't work out the way you wanted. It was just so sports are hard, man. Sports are hard. But it's even harder, like, because I know we have the potential. I know that we could do it. We could beat it. We could take it down to the Chiefs, like the greatest team in the AFC. Where we had them. We had them, and we just shot ourselves in the foot. And it's hard. It's hard to win. It's hard to fight when you get shot in the foot, right? When you freaking hit yourself, why are you doing that, you know? It's hard to move on if you shoot yourself in the foot that many times, right? Like, even if you just stub your toe. Like, sometimes I stub my toe, I need at least like a 30-minute snack break. Give me a juice box and some Rice Krispies. Like, I need a Rice Krispie tray. I need something to, just need to cry it out a little bit. And we hurt ourselves, and that's how it ended. It was really difficult. It was such a pain. It was such a, I don't even know what to say, dude. Like, I've lived through 0-16. Like, I've seen the Browns. I've seen them through the worst of the worst. And even then, I don't know. It's so hard, especially when you get so invested in that. It's like, and I don't mean to downplay depression or anything like that, but after, like, when the game ends, it's just like, I am in such a dark place here, and everyone's like, I don't want to be around you, you don't want to be around me, everyone just split up, scatter, let's go our own ways, and we just got to deal with this on our own way. And you just keep replaying the moment over in your mind, like, man, what could I have done to change it, right? I mean, maybe I could have gone to church that Sunday. I could have prayed more. I could have, donated the charity. I could have sat in a different place, because I can get superstitious. Like, what if I was sitting over here? What if I wouldn't have eaten that many chips? What if I would have saved that Pop-Tart for Nick the other day? Or, whatever. You think maybe I could have done something. Like, in the middle of the game, I'm like betting Nick. I'm like, hey, dude, if we win, I'll give you $50. I'll give you $70. I'll do whatever you want. I'll, like, pay money. I'm, like, trying to gamble, but, like, reverse gambling, like, betting against the team. Because I just, when you gamble, you just think, like, the world's out to get you, right? Like, if I gamble this much money, I'm banking on the world screwing me over, and I'm not going to, see whatever. So I'm, like, trying to reverse it. I'm like, I can play Puppet Master with you, world. I figured it out. I figured out life. That's how I try and play it with the freaking football. Anything like a big moments, I'm like, oh, I got this. Watch this. Hey, Nick, you want $100? If we win, I'll give it to you. And the world's like, oh, we don't want to help the team win, but we could screw them over with $100. Awesome. And I think it just doesn't. And unfortunately, I still have $100, and I would rather the Browns win. Honestly, like, I would rather just lose everything to have that Browns win. And it's not easy, dude. It's not easy. And Yeah, I honestly, I'm still hurting a little bit. The only thing that's gonna make me feel better is once we get that win. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten it yet. We're gonna be at the beach when we go see the next Browns game. Like nothing could make me happy. As soon as it ended, I was like, oh well, at least I'm like trying to cheer myself up. At least we'll be at the beach. We watch the next Browns game. Like, who cares, dude? Who cares? We got snacks. Who cares? I'm in perfectly good health. My family's healthy. Everything. We're physically safe. Who cares? Like, nothing made me feel. It's such a horrible dark. I'm like, I don't care about anything except that W that we don't have. Oh, man. It's not easy. It's not easy being a Browns fan. It's not easy being so invested. And the only thing that kind of made me like happy, that like brought me a little bit, like I've talked about finding the humor in things. I was like trying to rack my brains, like what can I do? What can I do to twist it? Sometimes you just can't twist things, right? Sometimes things just suck, and that's just how it was. But the only thing that did like kind of make me chuckle, I was like, oh, what if I just did the podcast right now? And I thought that would be funny because like if I came on here super sad, it's so mopey, so depressed, like, hey guys. Two cowboys walk into a bar. And, like, what if I just came on here with like this, like the least amount of, like, oh, I'm dying, dude. You'd be like, what are we watching here? Like, is this? Should we report this or something? It was but luckily, I'm pulling through. I'm trying to get on the way up. I'm just being honest that I am hurting, dude. It's hard. It's hard being a sports fan. I will say though that it can be harder, right? At least 50% of the teams lost, and at least the Ravens lost, right? We're in the AFC North, so we're tied for second place. But yeah, dude, it would suck to be the Ravens. The way the Ravens lost, they were playing the Raiders, and both teams were like kind of just throwing picks and fumbles. Like you just didn't know how this game was going to end. Both teams tried to lose it looked like, and the Ravens just they wanted to do that more. They lost it in like a crucial. It was horrible, and not to mention they lost so many of their starters before the first game even started. Dude, yeah, the Ravens they've had so many injuries, like ACL season-ending injuries, and I would never wish that. Like even if they're our rivals, like I would never wish harm or pain upon these guys because they work so hard to, get into that first game. Like you wait months and months grinding, doing everything you can to finally start playing, and then you get hurt. Like literally a week before the season started, it's like everything just started dropping like flies. ACL upon another like 7 other injuries. Like half their team was just disappearing in like a week or two. I don't even know how long it was, but they just started poof. Like, I don't know what was going on in the Ravens facility. I don't know if it was, like, the medical staff, the trainer. Like, if there's just, like, a ghost floating around the stadium just beating people with sticks. But, yeah, you have to wonder, like, why, like, the ACL, down there in the knees, like, what's going on, right? They go in there like, hey, doc, my knee's hurting a little bit. I'm going to have a little bit. He's like, all right, you come here, sit on table. I help fix. Oh, that doesn't make. I feel like it's making it worse, dude. You're making it worse. Like here, I sorry. Here, take 2 of these. Call me in the morning. He's like, this is poison. He's like, what? Do you want a glass of milk for the take it? Go down. Like I don't know what I think they're just trying to kill him. I don't know if these guys are other fans. Maybe they're fans of rugby and they're just trying to take him down. Like there's something going on with the Ravens, and I feel bad for him. Yes, we cute. We hurt the Ravens. But they're out to get him for sure, and I feel bad for him. But also, hey, tied for second place. But yeah, hard to be a Browns fan. It's hard to just say, hey, we were the better team. Like moral victories, right? Hey, we were the better team. We could have won the game. You can only coach on moral victories for so long. At some point, you got to see the win column, and I don't see that right now. Like there's only so many times you could say, hey, positive, until it doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. What else has been going on, dude? So I've been trying to be consistent with my highlights. Like I post little clips of the show, and the reason I can't stop talking a lot. Like when I get into this podcast, I'm like, I can't have a freaking second. I can't have a second of dead air, because I'm trying to make all these highlights, trying to clip all these things, and the attention spans are so short, right? If I just stop talking, if there's some sort of awkward silence, I'm just like, oh, these people, they're gonna leave. They're like, there goes our last viewer right there. It's like they just can't hold on. So I'm caught in this little thing where I'm trying to constantly think ahead and cut myself off and say so many different things at the same time that eventually I'm not really saying anything at all. And it's pretty tricky. Like it's not. I'm totally comfortable in the awkward silence. Like awkward silence is kind of my game. It's my bag. Watch this. You see that, dude? Like, who else? Like, look how calm, collected I looked right there. Like, I'm super comfortable in the awkward silence, but I just feel like I'm not allowed to do it enough. And I'm just like, oh, you gotta, everything you say has to be perfect, has to be a highlight. Like, I'm like, oh, this is, like, my next word has to be genius. Like, as I'm talking right now, everything I'm saying, I'm, like, hoping is just freaking gold. And people are gonna watch that and go, wow, never seen that before. And you've probably never seen anyone stand still for 20 seconds in the back, so I guess we're doing something right. But it's hard. It's hard. I'm trying to really find that footing there. I'm like, dude, when is it okay to take that step back and kind of dial it in and dial it around and learn? But I mean, obviously, like, this show isn't the time to do it because I'm feeling down. But it's okay. But I don't know what the cure or the remedy for that is. Do you just face the awkward silence? Do I just go, hey, hold on one second, let me think of a joke? Okay, yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, wait, 2 ducks? Oh, 1 duck. 1 duck and a goose? That's good. Okay, and then I come back and I got a joke. But it's just, it's tricky. It's tricky, dude. It's tricky to be, I'm kind of trying to improvise. You know, it's improfessionalizing. And it could be a work of its own. So, what was I saying about the highlights? The highlights. Oh yeah. Also, I got to be more consistent with the highlights. Like, people seem to like the highlights, but I just, for whatever reason, I keep slacking off. Probably because the Browns lost. So if the Browns lose, just expect me to, like, just kind of fall off the face of the earth. Everything just slacks for the next 3 days. I'm like, dude, no, nothing else matters. And yeah, it can be a slippery slope. So, if you notice that, right, I've noticed in myself, I'm like, whoa, no, is that silence? Is that silence? Freaking open your ears. I don't want to hear any silence, dude. I don't know why. I am comfortable. I like this. I mean, I don't like this silence. I want to fill it with goodness, but not just, I'm just talking just to talk. Like, essentially, I'm just like, whoa, you gotta, don't stop. It's like someone's like, hey, someone just over here, like, they're just outside, like, free. Okay. Anyways, I'm just still talking. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'll never stop. We'll pull up the dictionary. So it is what it is, but I'm working on it, dude. I'm just letting you know my process, what's going on in my brain. What else is going on, dude? I hurt my neck. I hurt my neck, guys. I hurt my neck. I was working out, and I was doing some one-arm rows, and I had there's a seated, like, a weight bench. And I was too lazy to lay it down, get on top of it and just freaking crank them suckers out. So it's kind of up, it's kind of slanted up, but the balance is off. So I had to rest my arm and rest my forehead on, and it was kind of like putting some pressure on my neck. Bad form. I was being stupid because I was too lazy to do something, and I did. I was like, ow, freak, that hurts. I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't look down. What the heck? Yeah, don't be lazy, don't be stupid. But I was just like, yeah, let me just freaking use my neck as leverage to freaking crank this weight up. And I got out, I was like, oh, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I feel pain, like, in my neck, like, just something that you just start overthinking a little bit. Like, when you feel pain that you're, like, in a uncomfortable spot, or like something you're not used to, something you've never gone through, a pain that you've never gone through before, you just start overthinking a little bit. Like, wait, is that how many? Like, is it always supposed to be so bumpy? It's like, what is that? Is that because I always? And then I realized I couldn't look down at all. I would look down. I was like, oh, frick, oh, and people were like, whoa, what's that? I'm like, I don't know, I can't. I just had no way to do anything, and it got to a point where I was just like anything below this field of vision is like, dude, I don't give a dang. Like, I just don't care to look down at this point because it was just too much work, too much effort on my freaking cervical vertebrae. I looked that up right before the show started, just so you're right. Isn't that how cool? That's how easy it is to sound smart. You just Google something. You're like, what? Not that I didn't know before. I totally did, but I forgot. Anyways, yeah, I was having this horrible neck pain. I was like, oh gosh. And I start Googling it, right? I'm like, oh, neck pain, the freaking bumps, neck. That is really bumpy. And then you should never do that. You should never Google anything. Anytime you ever have an injury at all, you're just like, oh, that's freaking cancer. You're dying, right? It's like, oh, you stubbed my toe. It's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to get cut off, and then you die. And like when I first started shaving, and you just cut yourself, and it's like keeps bleeding, and you keep dabbing it, it keeps bleeding, keep dabbing it, it keeps bleeding, and then you start looking at it like, holy crap, why won't it stop bleeding? This is like, what's the deal? Is it normal to keep bleeding for 10 minutes? Like, yeah, you're you're bleeding out, you're dying. And you're like, oh, crap. Yeah, it's like no matter what, like there was another time I stepped on a rusty nail, and this is actually unrelated, but I stepped on the rusty nail and I ended up going to the hospital. And during that time while I was at the hospital, I had I had a sore throat. I was probably like 12 or something. I don't know how old I was, but I had a sore throat. And I was like, "Whoa, this feels like super weird." And I was like, "Sore throat, what is it?" And they're like, can't. I'm like, "Okay, great, I'm dying. Great, this sucks." Oh, I'm dying. Dagnabbit, I'm dying again. There's just no way to get around it. No matter what you look up, no matter what it is, like, oh, I fell down. I tripped. You're dying. And I ended up asking the freaking doctor, I was like, "Is it normal?" She's like, is it normal like that? Am I dying? And then she's like, no, you have a sore throat, it looks like. So that was what I did. So freaking, I looked up my neck pain. I was like, "Oh, bumpy." And it's like, "Yeah, you probably paralyzed." I'm like, "Frick! I'm paralyzed." I was freaking so stupid doing the rows, and now I'm never gonna be able to look down ever again. And that's not what paralyzed means, but I was like, "Oh gosh, I've lost that mobility forever." And I was like super scared, and I was like, I just want to see what's down there. But it eventually did go away. Went over after the past couple of days, which, it helped though, because I was so sad about the Browns, but I couldn't like physically look down. There's a lesson in that. Like I had to keep my chin up, but anyways, it did go away, and I've got like this new neck I'm done. No. I got this new like neck mobility movement. Like I've got everything back, and I'm never gonna take it for granted now. So I'm just like looking around everywhere that I see things. I'm like, wow, I can do whatever I want now, except have bad form. So don't do that. But you learn to take things for granted a little bit. And also, I don't have cancer, and I don't. Yeah. Wow, this is kind of coming full circle. I was like, wow, I was so sad about the Browns that nothing else matters, and I actually did get injured. But if only I would have had these kind of reflective moments in real time. But it's usually on the podcast, I'm like, holy crap, dang, this is kind of brilliant. But it still matters. It's still important to have these conversations, these things you talk about. What else? What else is going on? Oh, I tried tap to pay. I tapped freaking, the card. It's got this little magnetic remote. You just tap it, and it sends a signal out to your card. Whatever it is, tap to pay, right? Tap to pay. We have the tap to pay cards now. I don't know how long they've been here, but I just found out about them somewhat recently, and I finally got to try it. And I was like, yeah, tap to pay. This sounds cool. And I'm at a gas station, and I'm just like slapping this thing on. It's like tap, ting, tap, ping, tap, psh, psh. And I'm like, is like there's this like little black square, right? It says tap to pay. I was like, is that the tapping spot? I'm starting. I'm like tapping it all around, and I'm like drumming it over. I'm sliding it, sticking it. I'm wiping it over the keys. I'm like waving it around like a waving a wand. I just look like I looked like I have no idea what I was doing, because I had no idea what I was doing, right? I like an old guy who just didn't even know what to do with like never heard of money yet. He's like, "Hey, I'd like to buy a Snickers bar." He's like, "All right, that's gonna be $1.50." He's like, "Hey, what do you take? A llama, I take a sheep." I've never heard of money. I'm just trying to barter my goods. "Hey, could you take a lamb?" He's like, "No, we don't take that. Cash or credit?" you take two. I got a sheepdog and my staff. Like, I don't know. I look like I was so out of place, and that's usually what happens. Like, these new things come along, I just don't know what to do with it. There was I remember when the chips first came out, like with your card, you have the chip and you insert it. I went to go pay for something. The guy's like, "All right, so swipe it." I was like, "Okay, swing." I swipe it, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks like it's a chip card. Insert it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I swipe it again, because that's what I do sometimes. People's like, so basically this is what's happening. This is what you have to do. And instead of just asking another question, like, what does that mean? I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And I do the same thing again. He's like, no, you got to insert it. Oh, okay. And I pretend that I understand what he's saying, but I'm like, I got it this time. No, listen, son, listen, boy, you gotta insert the card. You understand? He's like this older guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. And I swiped the card again. He was so angry because I'd done it 4 or 5 times now. He's like, do you have a chip in the card? And I was like, obviously when I hear chip, right? I was like, potato. I was like, is this like sponsored by Lay's or something? I'm like, and he's like, no, see the little mark right there? That's the chip, right? So you got to insert it. I'm like, insert. And he's like, no, look in the bottom of the machine. He like tilts the thing. I was like, see that? See the little inside thing? Stick that. I'm like, oh. No! So I'm like, oh, okay. So he takes the card for me. He sticks it in the insert. And that's my first time doing that. I just had no idea what the freaking insert card, like the chip cards. I just like, he's like, you got to insert. And I'm like, swiping an insert. And I'm like, you want a llama? Huh? Like, I remember when TV wasn't in color. But I'm not even an old guy. I just like, I'm so out of the loop when it comes to these new paying methods. So that's why I haven't even tried Apple Pay. I haven't tried anything because I just like, yeah, dude, what do you? So I'll just end up like swiping the phone or whatever. So yeah, I'm not a fan of tap to pay. I didn't get it to work. I still haven't gotten it. Still haven't figured it out. But I can use the chip. I do know how to insert. So that's something I am proud of. What else is going on? Not much. I think that was kind of my whole week. That's kind of everything that's gone down so far. And I guess by the time you're watching this, no, that's not true. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow for the beach. And I did record another episode, like I said before. Like, we've got another episode that's going to come out, and I won't be sunburned in that one, but the one that comes out, I definitely will be. But now that, like, I'm trying to, work on getting excited for the next Browns game. I'm getting excited for the beach. I'm getting excited, and a little worried, dude. I'm a little worried. Like, right before I go to the beach, or every time we ever go on vacation, I'm like looking around for my body for like scabs, making sure I'm healing up, because sharks like blood. And I've never been bitten by a shark. I don't even know how like little blood is okay in the water. How much blood can I spill? How much blood is okay in the water, right? Like asking the lifeguard, is it okay if I'm like bleeding a little bit with the shark come? He's like, no, dude, you should probably go to the hospital. And I was like, no. But I'm like always checking everything. Like I get so nervous. Like, is this scab from like? What if that scar? What if that breaks open? Is that okay? And I'm just like, I'm so worried. And I never go in after like 4 p.m. because there was just one time, I don't even know if this is true, but at one time there was these old ladies, they were walking up the beach, and I was walking down, she's like, no, you don't want to go in there after 4 p.m. And I was like, what? Why? What's wrong with 4 p.m.? She's like, well, that's usually when the sharks come out. You see, like the sharks, they come out of their nesting homes around 4 p.m. They get hungry for snack time. And I was like, wow, that's scary. And she's like, yeah, so I never go in after 4 p.m. because every time I see these kids going in, I go, shark bait, and I just let them go in because I like to watch them snack. I was like, so don't go in. He's like, no, I mean you can try, but I was like, are these scabs okay? So yeah, I'm a little bit worried right now. So it's like, oh, what do I hope I don't cut myself shaving? Hope I don't have cancer. Hope I don't have anything bad. So I'm trying to be safe. I'm trying to be very safe right now. Make sure I have no scratches, no nothing. I don't know how smart the sharks are. I don't know how good they are at freaking tracking the blood. How much blood's okay? But I don't know how. Like, if I do bleed, I just don't go in the water, and that's just how I play the game. And also, don't go in after 4 p.m. because I haven't seen a shark, but I've never gone in after 4 p.m. after she's like, shark bait, shark bait. Okay, lady, please don't let me die. You definitely don't look like you have my best interest in mind. But you are giving me freaking good information that I hope will serve me well. I don't know why. Okay, bye. And she walked away, and I never saw her again. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go to the beach. I'm excited to, I don't know, survive, I guess. It's kind of weird looking at the beach. Like, what's so exciting about the beach? What is it about the beach? Like, we have pools. We have waves here. In Ohio, we've got little lakes and stuff. What is it about the beach that's so vast? It's like, wow, you can't even see the other side of the pool. Or the sand. There's sand everywhere else. It's kind of crazy. The beach is like this resort or magnificent place to be. But really, there's not something that's super special about it besides the sharks. Maybe it's just the thrill of danger. I have no idea. What is in my bucket right now? Oh my gosh. Oh, no way. Okay, so like this is my little, thingy-majigger? How do you even? I don't even know. So look, I've got this little tab here, dude. I've had this thing on for who knows how long. Look at that. Look how nice it is now. Isn't that so great when you like have something for years, and you find that there's still like a little plastic covering on it? You're like, wow, I didn't know that this was supposed to come off, and now it's so much shinier. and nicer, and I'm proud to show it off. Like, you've never seen this before, but now I want to shove it in your face because look how clean. But there's so many, like, I have things like that, like my food scale or my PlayStation controller. I'm like, holy, what the crap? There's stuff on this. Like, what just happened? I'm dying? Is that cancer? But anyways, yeah, they just pull something off. Like, wow, it's new again. It's new, no matter how old it is. So I'm gonna go end the podcast now. I'm just gonna go press around on the buttons because it's exciting to me. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you at the beach. I'm trying to think about how I want to close this, but listen, I'm not good at closing. I'm really more of a middle guy, right? Like, oh, do you want to open for me? Like, I'm not really good at that either. What are you up with the closing act? Like, not really my strong suit either. Just stick me somewhere in the middle, and I'll, talk about football and cancer for 20 minutes. Is that cool? And I'm like, yo, okay, it's weird, but all right. Oh, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Thanks so much for being here. I hope the Browns win. Hope you guys' teams win, as long as you're not the Texans, because we're facing the Texans. But as long, anywhere else. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are having a good time. I hope you do smile some ass after that. I do give up. I do. All right. Later, guys. Thanks.